Okay, what is up? It is HP from Melodic TV. I am about to be greeted by lovely, lovely guest, the Delirium Effect. Uh, yeah, let's get it. Um, Thank you for taking the time out of your Friday to chat with me. Um, I know that Metalman TV at least appreciates getting voices from all over the country. So I was excited when y'all hit me up. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's do it.
We're excited that
Um,
you're talk to us. That's awesome.
for sure, yeah. So we got here, by the way, y'all, Alex and Brett.
Yep.
Um, so can y'all? This is gonna be a weird question, but it's the first question that came to me, and I always leave with that one. What are your favorite horror movies? And then we're gonna get into music.
My favorite's Puppet Master for sure.
What am I favorite?
Like pretty much all old school B-rated stuff
For
is
sure,
yeah.
classic.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not like I'm honestly not a big horror guy, which is weird because you see a lot of the theming in our album deals with that. But yeah, I had an experience watching the movie, it just threw me off. But one I always go to, I feel like you could consider it a horror movie, that Cabin in the Woods. Because
Ooh,
I went to it and I was just sitting there the whole time because it was like I got drugged to the thing, and I'm sitting here like, oh my god, I don't like this movie. This is so cheesy. I'm not enjoying it at all. And then just right whenever it had that switch, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. I just love it.
yeah. And it's something about those movies that are actually horrible, but are so good at the same time,
Oh,
like
yeah.
especially in horror. Um, that genre definitely lends to that. Okay, I just had to get up. Thank you. I had to get that out of the way. I was dying to know. Um, so talk to me about like the story of your band. How did y'all meet? Can shout out the other members. Like tell me about your origin, I guess, story.
Okay. So yeah, we started up in 2018. We've all known each other for a long time. I mean,
Me and Brett's been friends for over 20 years.
yeah.
Oh wow.
And including DJ, our keyboardist. We've been hanging out with him, 20 years. And some of the other guys, Storm, our guitarist, he kind of was the one who kind of came to Alex and had the idea of getting the band going. And we had known him from a previous band in the scene, dating back like about 10 years ago or so.
Okay.
Yeah, we just kind of all known each other for years. We've done some different projects together. Most of us had always done projects away from each other, and then it's just kind of like, hey, we got this idea, do something a little different, and
Yeah.
we got together. So it was originally Storm, Alex, Jordan. We had a different guitarist in the band at the time, our longtime friend Nick.
Mhm.
I kind of came in. We started working on Phantom, the first video we put out a
Yeah.
couple years ago, the first track on the album.
Mhm.
So we just spent all that time working on that, weren't concerned about anything else. But for Halloween, we were going to put out this song and video, and then
Yeah.
we're just
That song's about the Texarkana Moonlight Murders, which is like
Mhm.
the killer and all the stuff like that. The town that went sundown.
Yeah.
So yeah, we focused on that, put it out, got a good response to it, and then like I said, let's really go in and keep going with this.
And here we are now, like what, 3 years
3
later?
years now.
We have our first debut album. So
Eternal, yes.
Yeah.
How does that feel that to have that like first baby, the first one?
oh, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Because we've had bands in the past, and we hadn't really had the ability to put out something not only that musically sounded good, but as far as the producing, the mixing, the mastering.
Yeah.
Storm, bless him, he's put so much work into it. He mixed and mastered the album.
Everything.
Wow.
And it's the best sounding thing we've been a part of. So not only for this band having our first album, but from all the music we've put out in the past, this just feels like it's kind of kind of like we've grown up as musicians and got to put out something really special to us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that past experience was like training for this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Um, so okay, you mentioned the massacre. Talk to me about some other like I guess inspirations behind your music. I know O Theodore was inspired by Ted Bundy. Are there other like specific like true crime events or horror movies
Yeah.
that inspire the plots to your lyrics?
Yeah. God Complex is about Frankenstein.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it differently now.
Yeah. And then From the Black is the creature from the Black Lagoon. And
Okay.
Blood Drunk is about like vampirism and like Dracula.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And let's see. Recoil is actually about PTSD.
Hmm.
And then DOA is drug addiction.
And DOA actually features Tyler Hale
Yep.
from Hostages.
Yep.
Yo, shout out to Tyler.
That's how we
That's the
found
homie.
It's awesome for real.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
the homie.
Yeah, we kind of had the idea because the first couple songs we put out like Phantom, O Theodore, were a little more focused on things like the true crime aspects, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
then we were like, okay, we're gonna put out this EP about the 6 Universal monsters. So we started,
Oh.
Yeah.
and then everything with COVID happened. Put a big rut and everything that was going on, and then finally we were like, let's put everything out together. Let's go back, rework it, make it sound cohesive,
Mhm.
just kind of.
Cat.
Oh yes, and we have a cat.
Yeah.
Hello.
There's 2 in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, my cat just suddenly started moving. You know.
So it went from an EP about the Universal monsters to where we now kind of consider it an album about different horrors. Like,
Yeah, it's all stuff that's never ending. It's eternal. I mean, because you've got, horror will never end. I mean, people will never stop putting out horror movies and stuff like that. I mean, in the concept of the monsters in, the album, they're all like immortal, eternal.
Yeah.
And then, you're always going to have monsters like Ted Bundy or the Phantom Killer or something like that. So it all just like meshed together. Eternal.
Yeah, that's eternal. That makes sense. And it's kind of like there's an additional layer of like, okay, there's like the horrors of like life.
Yeah.
Like, if you have some sort of disorder, PTSD, I have, depression, all these different things.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, and this is just classic for me since I'm a maggot. I love Slipknot. Sorry, but it reminds me of Devil and I. The music video for that song was all about everyone's different like greatest fear, and so they died. Each of them died by their greatest fear being set on fire. I think one was like hanging, drowning, or something. Like I love the mix of that. I wouldn't have expected that. I think my assumption was everything's horror movies. This is awesome. I really love that. So I'm glad I asked that question to get more like, understanding of your background. So what are like some artists that inspire you or other than like horror, true crime, the stuff you just described, what are some I guess like musical connections that you have with some bands?
So I think what's great with our band is we have a lot of stuff that we're all inspired by. I would definitely say one that all of us collectively are inspired by, the Black Dahlia murder.
Yeah.
That's
For sure.
that.
That makes sense. I remember.
Yeah.
And so like, and I think it varies because like for me, I play bass. I haven't done a ton of the songwriting, so I'm influenced more by like the performance I put out in our live shows. And I did on a lot of the bands like Every Time I Die, The Chariot, Norma Jean, those bands that just have these experiences of a live show. So
Yeah.
whenever I think of an influence, I think of what I'm bringing to that live show.
Yeah, and then my stuff is like I lean more towards like the deathcore genre.
Okay.
So like, I love bands like Thy Art Is Murder, Different Autopsy. After the Burial was actually a huge inspiration on me because like his mid range is something that I try to achieve.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, and you know, if you talk to Storm, Tanner, you definitely hear Silosis come up.
Oh yeah, constantly.
You know, Jordan, our drummer, is a huge Mastodon guy.
Oh yeah.
Those would be ones without them being here. I can definitely say, yeah, that's big influence on that.
DJ's like whatever comes on the radio.
Really, like anything that comes on the radio?
Oh yeah.
It's
No, he loves stuff like Gojira and
Lamb of God.
Lamb of God.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Heck yeah, that's awesome. Slayer, he likes that too. I do too.
Sure.
Yeah, because there's a crossover. I mean, we're metal guys, so a lot of the bands we'll get lost in practice a lot of the time. Like, I'll put on this song, we gotta listen to this.
Yeah.
And 30 minutes will pass. We'll be like, we gotta get back in the band room.
Yeah.
just vibing.
The same kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always nice when you have mixed influence. So then I guess I don't want you to pigeonhole yourself, but how would you define your music style? Like what genres would you accept, I'll say?
I've always had a hard time whenever we try to say,
you know what,
like, well, we're for fans of these guys.
Yeah.
Well, we've kind of like landed on is.
Do you know what Storm calls us?
What's that?
Thrash nasty.
Thrash nasty.
Thrash nasty.
We have those thrashy riffs, and then we have the deathcore elements where it's like a big breakdown.
Okay.
There's a lot of thrash metal influence.
Yeah.
A lot of cat.
Love the cat content.
Deathcore, metalcore.
Sure.
Those would be kind of the three main things that I say kind of come together to make what we put out.
Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. That's really cool. So then, what's the response been like? Now you have your baby, you have Eternal. What's the response been like by fans? What have going to shows been like? I'm thinking like, what are your favorite show experiences so far?
I think one of the coolest things, I mean, we've got a good response. We had a couple of sites review the album. They gave it pretty good reviews. One I like to point out, YouTube channel, Classy Lonnie Metal. He bought our album at a show, and he's like, I know you feature a lot of stuff with like deathcore influence on here, but I like what these guys are doing, and I thought that was a cool compliment. One thing I thought was cool. So recently, over in Memphis, we got to play with Carnifex, Enterprise Earth, and Sulfur, and local friends of ours at Phi also opened the show. And I'm sorry about these cats.
Yeah,
it's okay. I understand the cat life. It's
Oh, we played this show, and I mean, we set up our merch table and our album and stuff. Obviously, we didn't expecting to, sell anything because we're like, okay, people are here to see these bands.
Yeah, they want to see content by their merch.
We had a great night. I mean, we sold multiple copies of the album. We were selling shirts and stuff. And
awesome.
We had people gathering.
Yeah.
I mean, like in numbers that kind of surprised us. And we just recently went down to Sherwood, Arkansas, right outside of Little Rock. Played with a couple of great local bands.
Yeah, Dawn of Ascension.
And Constricted out of Louisiana. They were great. And I mean, again, just getting a really positive response. People are responding to the music well. Usually I'm hearing a lot of God Complex and Blood Drunk as kind of the ones that people are resonating with. You know, we've got the video we did last year for God Complex, and next year we should be putting out a video for Blood Drunk. So that's gonna be
Awesome.
a cool experience.
Sweet. No, yeah. Actually, one of my questions was about God Complex. So you partnered with David from Signs of Swarm.
Right.
How did that come about? What was that like?
Well, Tanner, our guitarist, it's kind of funny, just like the age gap, because you know I'm 33, he's
33.
Yeah, and Tanner's 24, so there's about like age gap there. So like sometimes, you know, I won't have, I guess, these connections with as many musicians from the point I got online as he does, and he has them on Facebook, and then just saw that he was, you know, trying to get out and do some more features, and we just hit him up, started talking, and was like, hey, we've got this song, we'd love to get on it, you know, and we booked him to come on and do it, and absolutely killed it.
That was awesome.
Sounds so good. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Like, I find that the role of social media is always like evident. It's always there. Yeah. So now I'm curious, what would be like a dream collaboration? Like to have either another band or another person featuring?
You know what my answer
I'll
is.
figure I know.
What's your answer? What's your answer?
Okay, so I don't know. I mean, I'm probably like the world's biggest Irish Murder fan. I mean, I know that everybody loves that band, but I love that band. So if I could collaborate with them on something, dude,
Badass.
that'd be nuts.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and myself, I mean, I think a lot of us, Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder, that's someone, if we could ever hear him on a track with us, that would just be a dream.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so let's see. I have another question sort of about more, so thinking more about Eternal, and the songwriting process, the production process. What's that been like? Because you mentioned COVID and that like having an impact at one point. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Understand. So, you know, a lot of like the music, a lot of the ideas are Storm and Tanner, you know, creating songs, riffing out. So we had like once Phantom was written, and you can kind of hear between like Phantom, Recoil, O Theodore, we're kind of trying to hone in the sound.
Yeah.
And I think on the latter songs on the album, oh yeah, like Phantom, Recoil, O Theodore,
Coffin
Currency. Those were some of the first ones. You can kind of hear more of a metalcore influence in what they were writing at that point. We started incorporating a lot more of those thrash and a bit of deathcore elements in the latter half of it. So you know, kind of generally, Storm Tanner has a whole song idea, come in, start thinking about where they're going to be, you know, putting vocals, what ideas they have to create a song with it, and have a lot of good discussion between everyone.
Yeah, me and DJ actually we write all the lyrics together pretty much.
So, yeah, and then as far as, you know, producing the album, that's something which, you know, with Storm's work schedule, unfortunately he couldn't be with us here, but I'm sure he could talk to you for hours about that. He gets set up in his room and he just goes and he
does it all with FL Studios too, which is incredible.
Wow.
And appreciate that. Sometimes it, you know, sometimes it can get frustrating whenever you're like, I really like this, and then he's like, no, that's not it, and he's like not satisfied until it's like just right type. And I think that worked out really great, because once we heard what Eternal like ended up being from what the original sound was like. If you hear the original demos of the songs,
Yeah.
they're great. But then once he just worked on that,
Yeah.
I think it really just brought it up multiple levels.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome to be able to observe and like watch and see, and like you see how each piece is getting better and better, and they're all like blending together into the baby. Why do I keep referencing a baby? But
It totally is. It totally.
yeah. So that all of that sounds like a lot of work that you're all putting into this. Like, what are some of your motivations? Because you're, you know, thinking about work and balancing, schedules, and what keeps you going, I guess is the question.
So I always think back to, it's kind of funny because the people I'm referencing probably don't know this. I always think back to whenever I was in high school and I couldn't play an instrument at all. And I went over to a friend's house and it's like, oh yeah, we got this little garage band, it's kind of your early 2004 kind of like new metal type band. And they're in this
Kind of stuff. Kind of stuff.
they're in the backyard and they're just like trying to make this little song. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is it. And then so I started, listening to a lot of metal, and then went to Ozfest and Mayhem Fest back when those were going. And I was just like,
You're so lucky.
oh, it was great.
Brett didn't take me to Ozfest with him because he thought I was weird when we were kids.
That's for
Did you apologize?
Yes. Every day, and I will hear about this until my last day.
You will.
That's fair.
As you should.
Yeah. For me, like going to those shows and just seeing those bands and seeing, I don't like to always just say it's like a reaction from a crowd, but I like that it's like a shared experience.
Yeah.
That connection, like whenever there's times where we're playing shows, I'm really feeling it, and I look out and those people are feeling what we're doing. That shares. So that's like the big motivation in my book.
I mean, it's pretty much like the dream for me. I started I got my first guitar when I was 11. And I turned out to be a vocalist. Yeah, I started playing guitar, and then me and him started playing guitar together. Actually, we both learned how to play at the same time. And you ended up on bass, so we're probably terrible guitars. But yeah, so and I've been doing it like my whole life. And then I don't know, it's actually Slaughtering the Sick, our old band, is like the actual like first time I was like
doing vocals.
Doing
Back
vocals.
in about 2010, 2011 time frame. Yeah. He's staying on my couch, and I'd be going to bed for school or work the next day, and then he'd be in there on the couch just going through every tutorial for months and months at a time. And then it's been great hearing that progression from when he started to now. I feel very lucky to have this vocals,
Thanks, man.
Hey, oh, the love.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So again, a lot of work, a lot of dedication into this. You can see that in a product of work, right?
Yeah.
How are you taking care of yourself? How are you, because that's a lot of energy and emotion, and like to be in a process of constantly critiquing your work and revising, and that can get like, I don't know, for me when I'm doing something like that, where it's, my passion, it becomes a lot. So how are you taking care of yourself? I know that's kind of like a hippie question, but how are you taking care of yourself?
Understandable. Like, even if it's something that's your passion, whenever you're working so hard at it, it can definitely wear on your mind. For me, I mean, I'm married. I have an 11-month-old child now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And
another baby.
I'm sorry.
Another baby. Sorry.
Another baby. Yeah, a baby to go, but a real life baby to go with the baby album. Yeah. So, just it's like, go work this job, work on music, and then just coming home to them. And that's really the thing that just makes makes me keep going, just excited, little baby smile, excited smile for my wife coming home. And
Oh,
that's what I consider the thing I do to level myself, to take care of my mental health, just really investing in that family.
Yeah.
yeah, that is important.
Yeah. And mine's pretty much the same. I mean, my wife's awesome. She's great. I mean, and then honestly, the band is what keeps me level headed, along with her. But
Mhm.
when I go to do band stuff, it's like, all right, cool. What am I gonna write about now? What kind of vocal style am I gonna learn next? Because honestly, when
Mm.
I started this band, I only knew like two. I knew how to do highs and lows, and that was it. And now I can tone scream and do all this other crazy stuff. But that's really what keeps me level headed with. I mean, I critique myself, like I don't like any of my vocals on the album, but that's yeah. Oh, I hate them. But that's how I like push myself to get better.
Like you can do better.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a great thing with performing, being a part of a performing act like that, is while there's so many areas that can definitely wear on you, there's so many different turning parts that make the whole thing, that there's other areas that you can focus on and really reset, even using that to reset and level yourself out. Like,
Yeah.
like after all the stress of trying to get the album together, all the artwork and everything ready, and then we're like, okay, cool, now we get to relax and we get to play with freaking Carnifex Enterprise Earth and No Sulfur.
And then December 14th, we're playing with something to Lich.
Yes. That's actually, if I can, that's a pretty neat story, I think. So yeah, here December 14th, we're about to play with Summoning the Lich out of St. Louis. They're on Prosthetic Records. And a couple of years back, the whole band, we saw Architects and By Artist Murder was coming to St. Louis, and we were like, oh yeah, band trip. So all six of us gathered up, we went up to St. Louis, had a blast, went to this show. We were leaving and we saw these guys, handing out cards.
Magic cards.
Yeah, business cards.
Magic cards.
Business.
Yeah.
They had a band card in the form of a Magic the Gathering card, which we thought was awesome. We're big Magic fans.
Yeah.
And we got
Nice and nerdy.
we got to talking with them, and it was Summoning Religion. We were like, okay, cool, yeah, we'll check it out. And we started listening. We're like, this band is amazing. And then like it was a month or two later, and they're like, we were following them on social media, and they're like, oh yeah, we're signed to Prosthetic Records, and we're like, yeah, that makes sense. So we were all this time after this, we're like, we would love to play with this band. And then after the Carnifex show, the general manager of the Growlers was like, hey, this touring band's coming through. They need local support. I told them to hit up you guys. I was like, okay, cool. And then it was them that messaged us. I was like, I don't know if you remember us, but yeah, we were talking to y'all outside of this show 2 years ago. They're like, oh yeah, we remember that.
Oh, wow, yes, I remembered.
Yeah, so like 2 years later, the show that had been coming together the whole time. I'm pretty excited about that.
That is a good story. Oh my gosh. What's been your favorite like concert experience as a patron, as someone like going somewhere? I know Brett, you'll probably say Ozfest.
Probably.
Honestly, I like spent so much money going to different concerts. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I went to 2 Ozfests. The first year, it was the first time being at a show that went all day like that, and then there were so many bands going on. I was just like, wow, this is pretty incredible. And it's cool because I wanted to see Ozzy Osbourne that year. It was one of the years he was pretty sick and he was missing a lot of dates. But right before System of a Down went on that long hiatus breakup, but they headlined, and then their set was extended to like an hour and a half. And at that time I was like, System of a Down, yeah, that's who I'm going for. And then a whole like hour and a half set, and I was just like, this is great. So I that's one I always think back to, a little more fun than others.
What year was the first Warped Tour we went to?
Warped Tour.
Oh, dude, yeah.
We went 2010, I think.
Yeah, it was we had Suicide Silence and Whitechapel, and oh man, it was probably like the best and worst experience of my life, because I burned so bad with the sun, like it kills me.
Oh,
Yeah. So I was super sunburnt, and then I ran out of money halfway through.
damn it.
Yeah, so I didn't have money to get like water or anything like that. So they were spraying people with water hoses, and I took the water hose from the dude and took a drink out of it. But
Gotta do what you gotta do.
oh yeah, but I mean it was awesome. Okay, I don't know. That was the first festival I ever went to. It was just life changing.
Yeah, I mean, there's some amazing small venue experiences. I think it's always just almost so overwhelming when you're in that big festival atmosphere. There's just a whole nother level that's hard to compare to.
Yeah, and there's also an element of just like, I don't want to say survival, but just like, I don't know, it's that you got the heat. There's so many people. You're gonna be tired as fuck.
Yeah.
But the whole time you're gonna like love it and like just feel so grateful after.
Definitely.
Yeah. So tell me about, I guess, like next steps, what we can look out for. I know you mentioned a couple of things, but just like promote all the things, I guess.
So, well, one of the main things we're looking at right now is, well, right now, we're trying to still promote Eternal. That's the main focus. We're trying to, we want as many people hearing as we can. We've been amazed at the response so far. But we want to keep getting that out. We're, looking at booking a lot more shows in 2022.
Right on.
Finally felt like COVID subsided enough for us to get back out on a few shows this year. Kind of get back. Could probably put out another music video or two from the album. We're in talks with that. We've been helped a lot in getting back into it. This year we joined up with House of Perdition Records, which is based here in Arkansas. Got a couple of great bands associated with it: Weeping Gate, Telenorth, and all great bands that should be checked out. But yeah, we started working with them. They really helped us make sure that this album got put out correctly, and they're going to be helping us into the new year with kind of getting that new media out there. One thing we're working on before COVID, I started a little like vlog on the YouTube channel. If you're on our YouTube, you'll see a couple episodes like.
Glad to look for it.
Yeah, you see a couple little things we put together from that, and we're working on really making that more of a way to connect and show a more inside scoop to what we've got going on. So that's something we're looking for into the new year. Just trying to get out there.
Also got a new merch drop coming.
New merch coming.
Ooh.
Dropping new merch.
Oh snap! I didn't think it was coming.
And we can.
Our drummer just showed up.
Ooh, shout out to you, yo.
This is Mr. Jordan Abear, our drummer.
Yeah.
Who has
What's up, Jordan?
So.
Awesome. Welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So if I'm trying to find the YouTube channel, what should I type in?
If you're on browser, you just go to youtube.com/the Delirium Effect. That goes right to our site. It's got all our music videos right there.
all access to the stage.
Yeah, all access effect. That was kind of the idea I had to start with. I mean, really,
it's really just a whole bunch of like camera angles that Brett shouldn't have taken of all of us.
yeah, just me sneaking up on people with my iPhone. They're like, Brett, why are you
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're wanting to really like make that more of a consistent thing into the new year. So hoping to up my production value off of my iPhone.
Well, hey, iPhones are a good like investment. Honestly, people can shoot a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff from just an iPhone. So you can totally do that.
So
Absolutely.
here we are.
Hey,
Very, very
Can you put
professional.
next outside?
Very professional in the middle,
Mhm.
putting a cat outside.
Yeah.
Bye, cat.
Yeah.
I wish I had a separate room to put my cat in. I live in a studio.
Yeah, she likes to turn off my computer a lot.
Oh,
I'm
that
trying
would
to
be problematic.
yeah, that's why I've been trying to keep her, over here.
For sure. How is your Friday, Jordan?
He's got off of work.
But it's so it's a lot better now, I guess.
We're
Yeah.
more like the factory effect.
Yeah, that's for real.
The factory effect.
All got a bunch of factory jobs that were just exhausted once
Well,
we're done.
we're ready for this to blow up so we don't ever have to do it again.
Yeah. And I mean, you're working fucking hard to make that happen. So
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just what you were talking about, like that blend of trying to get to the personal, right? Like on the social media, on the YouTube, right? But then that in-person energy and presence to like carry you on through show after show.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a good strategy. So just keep doing it, yo. All right. Yeah. So I guess I won't hold you up too long. But thank you so much for taking this time out of your day, out of your busy life, all y'all hardworking factory boys. So I definitely appreciate it. And yeah, I'll let you know when all this stuff gets organized. I'm like the North American sort of host. So France is like the base of Metal Mad TV. So it'll take a little bit for us to get everything organized. But once it is, I'll let you know.
Thank you. And thank you for doing this interview with us. We really appreciate it.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely been fun. And I can't wait to review your album.
Yeah, for real. That's awesome.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna end.